Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amira Farhah Binti Mohd Faiza. My metric number 1230486. So for today's video, I'll be talking about evolution of media effects theory. So we will start with the introduction. As you may already know, media effects theory is a branch of communication studies that examine how media content and exposure can shape individuals' attitude, beliefs, behavior, and perception through film, radio, newspaper, and digital media. The hypodermic needle theory suggests that media messages are directly injected into passive audience, shaping their thoughts and action uniformly. In contrast, the two-step flow theory posits that media effects are mediated by opinion leaders who interpret and relay messages to others, emphasizing the role of social networks in shaping responses. Meanwhile, the selective exposure theory argues that audience actively choose media content aligning with their existing belief, reducing the direct impact of media and highlighting the interplay between personal preferences and media consumption. Together, this theory illustrates varying perspectives on how media affects individuals and society. Now, let's move on to the media effects theory overview. So let's start with the first theory, which is hypodermic needle theory. The hypodermic needle theory, which was one of the earliest ways of thinking about how the mass media influences audience. The hypodermic needle is a linear communication theory which suggests that media messages are injected directly into the brains of a passive audience. The audience is manipulated into reacting in a practical way. Secondly, two-step flow theory. The concept of the two-step flow of communication refers to the idea that the flow of information and influence from the mass media to their audience. This theory asserts that information from the media moves into two distinct stages. First, from the media to certain individuals known as opinion leaders. Second, from these opinion leaders to the general public. These opinion leaders share their interpretation with others in their social circle, mediating the flow of information. Last theory is selective exposure theory. This theory is closely related to confirmation bias, where individuals interpret information in a way that supports their existing belief. In the context of media, it means people often choose news sources of content that reinforce their opinion and avoid those with opposing viewpoints. The selective exposure theory can be seen as a way to avoid cognitive dissonance, which is the psychological discomfort caused by holding conflicting beliefs. So let's move on to the theory breakdown. I'll be explaining about the historical context and main concept of each theories. So firstly, we're going to start with hypodermic needle theory. Hypodermic needle theory was developed in 1920s and 1930s, primarily in response to the observed effect of propaganda during World War I and events like Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, broadcast in 1938. This theory suggests that mass media's messages are injected directly into the minds of a passive audience, implying that all individuals respond uniformly to media content. It reflects a linear model of communication where the media has a powerful and direct effect on audience behavior and beliefs. However, this perspective has since been challenged and is no longer widely accepted in media studies. Secondly, the two-step flow theory. It was developed by American sociologist Paul Lazar-Felt in the 1914s. In his research, particularly in the book The People's Choice, focused on the 1940 presidential election and revealed that people are more influenced by interpersonal communication than by mass media. Lazarus-Felt identified opinion leaders, which is individuals who are more exposed to the media and can influence others within their social circle. The main concept of the two-step flow theory is that information from the mass does not flow directly to the masses, but rather passes through these opinion leaders. These leaders interpret and relay the information to their followers, making them crucial in shaping public opinion and behavior. So for the last theory is selective exposure theory. It was introduced by Leon Festinger in 1957 as part of his cognitive dissonance theory. explaining how individuals actively seek information that aligns with their existing belief while avoiding contradictory information to reduce psychological discomfort. Rooted in the mid 20th century exploration of media and psychology, the theory highlights the human tendency for cognitive consistency and the avoidance of dissonance. This selective behavior often reinforces existing beliefs through confirmation bias, limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. The theory remains highly relevant in understanding media consumption, political polarization, and the role of personalized algorithms in creating echo chamber in the digital age. So we come to the last part of the video. In conclusion, media effects theory explores how media influence individuals and societies using frameworks like the hypodermic needle theory, two-step flow theory, and selective exposure theory. The hypodermic needle theory, rooted in early 20th century propaganda studies, suggests that media messages directly influence passive audience, creating uniform reaction. However, this linear model is now considered outdated. The two-step flow theory, developed by Paul, emphasized the role of opinion leaders in mediating media influence, showing that interpersonal communication shaped public opinion more than direct media exposure. Lastly, the selective exposure theory, introduced by Leon, highlights how individuals seek information aligning with their beliefs to avoid cognitive dissonance, a behavior amplified by digital algorithms fostering echo chambers. These theories collectively underscore the evolving dynamics of media role in shaping perceptions and the significance of social and psychological factors in contemporary media consumption.